Hi, everybody. Mark here, Wisdom Gaming. What I want to do here is I'm going to call this a bit your weekly dose of ASL. I'm going to try to do one of these a week just because I want to keep up the videos, disciplining myself to do this. And it's going to be completely, well, it's not 100% unrehearsed, but it's mostly impromptu. So I'm going to try not to do too much editing here. And we'll see how it goes. Now, what we're going to do today is focus on the ASL journal that just came out, issue 14, right here. As I said, I buy everything that I talk about so that I won't be influenced unduly. I'd like to make sure that everybody's aware that what I do is free of influence as much as possible. Okay, so what do I want to say about this journal? Well, first of all, this is one of the best journals that has come out for a long time. Now, I say that because of two or three reasons, and I actually uh, don't have it in front of me, but one of them is the historical map. I really love historical maps and scenarios based on historical maps. I think it's one of the wonders of ASL. You know, the geomorphic boards are great. The many, many scenarios you can have with geomorphic boards are just tremendous. But I'm telling you right now, when you have these kinds of well-researched, well, I guess the best way to put it is well-researched historical efforts by people who are completely devoted to the game. Um, and that's what I would have to say about Mr. Andy Rogers here. If you look at the table of contents for this is probably mirrored, so it doesn't look like it reads correctly. But most of these articles in here were by Andy Rogers. He clearly loves the game. He loves portraying the Australians in ASL. He must be from Australia, I would assume. I'm sure that he is. I haven't read all of these articles, but I think he also had something to do with Hatton in Flames as well. And that, of course, is a European theater game. So let's talk about the quality of this issue. One of the first things that I want to point out is it's a 55 page, I guess you can call it 56 pages if you look at the back page, which is actually interesting. It's not so sure it's something we need. It's called Twilight of the Reich, and everybody knows that during the last days of the Reich, the Supreme Commander uh, ordered that every German city was going to be turned into a fortress. Now, in my opinion, we've got plenty of city battles in ASL already. I'm not really sure we need any more of them. We've got third-party publishers. We've got they have the Rubble module, Bounding Fire Productions, Into the Rubble 2. There's plenty of you got Red Barricades, you got Valor of the Guards, um, the Feastung Budapest. We have plenty of city fighting. So I'm not really so sure I'm going to be that interested in this module because I have plenty of unplayed fighting in the cities already. But getting back to the contents of this, uh, one of the things I really appreciate about it is this extensive biography on page 55. And it's extensive. There's a, a score of citation, not citations, but references here. Uh, the bibliography apparently was used in creation of the many historical articles in this particular journal. We've got Aussie and Kiwi stories, the battle for Crete. Everyone might remember that this was a New Zealander battle. Um, let's see, a visitation, revisiting Hatton in Flames, and a lot of historical information, maps that were used to create the Hatton map. Hatton in Flames is a heck of a of a dogfight if you've ever played it. It's amazing. Um, let's see, Sparrow Force. That's what the big map that comes with this, the HASL map, is called Sparrow Force. And unfortunately, I don't think the uh, Vassal module's done on that yet for the map, but hopefully come out soon. Another historical article on all the king's enemies, the 17th Australian Infantry Brigade. Nice analysis of a scenario that I had played twice. Really thought it was unbalanced, but I'm not so sure it is. Dingoes at Damore. Quite an interesting scenario, really. And yeah, highly recommend this. Uh, they got the mini campaign game, but the historical articles combined with the actual ASL type information articles. There's a series replay here. There's a huge breakdown analysis here of Dingoes at Damore. Yeah, good stuff here. Really good stuff. So, of course, everybody knows that it's not just the journal articles, but it's the pile of scenarios, and there's no disappointment there. I mean, look at this. 20 over 20 scenarios. We have J223, latecomers, all the way through J246, loser takes all. And there's a couple of ways that I evaluate the quality of a scenario. And one of these ways, well, let's take them all together. The first is the number of turns. Uh, the older scenarios would run 9, 10 turns, and the scope of those, as ASL techniques have advanced and the way that attackers can play has improved, these scenarios maybe have too many turns. Uh, I think there's a sweet spot around 6 or 7 turns uh, that gives you some time to maneuver and maybe make some adjustments where you can actually play ASL with some maneuver and then fighting. One of the reasons why, and I know there's plenty of fans of it, but I'm not one of them. I don't play Deluxe ASL anymore. I did get the modules and I had them for a while, but they're so tiny. One of those boards, you need 8 of those boards, if I'm correct, to make one regular ASL board. Something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 4. In any case, they're too small. There's no room to really maneuver in those, and so you wind up setting up for a gunfight. Um, you can already do that with regular ASL and have still some space to do something. So uh, just don't go for it anymore. So here, the first scenario, latecomers here, has that sweet spot. 7 turns, 6.5 turns. It's good. It's good for tournaments. And the size of the scenario is good too. It's got at least 10 MMC, or I prefer at least 10 squads on a side. And the reason why I think that's important is because if you have too few squads on a side, first of all, it's usually the defender. And the defender has a tough time anyway. Maybe it's just my skill as a defender has a tough time. But the fact of the matter is, with less than 10 squads, you can't afford hardly any bad luck with that. A sniper coming in has a much bigger chance to kill your best leader. It has a much better chance of breaking a key squad in your limited defense of 5 squads. Honestly, I don't understand these scenarios where you have this few of MMCs to play. I don't think it's a good representation of fun factor, even if it might be a good representation of historical factor. So here, latecomers, this first scenario, you've got at least 10 squads on the side, in fact, exactly 10. And the SSRs, that's the third factor. The third factor here, um, not too many SSRs. If there's too many, that means somebody's putting in something to make some strange sort of historical thing to try to squeeze it into the system. And maybe that's good for historical verisimilitude, but it doesn't usually make for a fun scenario when you've got SSRs that are half the scenario card. I tend to reject those for any kind of tournament game that I'm playing. So this J223 passes that test, those three factors. Um, I don't think any of these are actually been put onto ASL Roar yet, so I don't know. Of course, the other factor is, what is the balance of the scenario? Um, Sometimes you can get a feel for that if you have enough experience. I tend not to, my intuition tends to be a little too optimistic. So it's always good for me to go to ASL Roar and get some uh, hard facts, let's say. All right, so J223, I'm not going to show you all of these scenarios. You'll see them all if you buy the module, and I highly recommend that you do. Okay, J224, posts 9/11. This has a few more SSRs because it's a night scenario. However, it does have the requisite 10 squads and the requisite time frame. 5.5 turns is okay. I'm okay with that. When it starts getting less than that, I see some scenarios coming out with 4.5 turns now. Um, that's going to be indicative that you're already sitting right on top of each other and it's a scripted scenario. Um, I don't think that that's a very good scenario time frame, just as I don't think that 10 turns can usually be a good time frame unless you're playing some epic kind of battle. So that's two of these that are really good. I've got At the Feet of Zeus here, looking at this. 6.5 turns, plenty of squads, not too many SSRs. Nice. Um, this one, J226, this looks like a paratroop drop. Yeah, it's an airdrop, so you never know what's going to happen with an airdrop, but it looks fun. It's got enough squads on it. And 7 turns. J230, batter for Bao Bao. Sorry, battle for Babao. Having trouble with this. Battle for Babao. So this one's a little bit longer. Uh, this is one where you can purchase your own mix of forces. It's got enough squads, 8 turns. Looks good. Another one. Uh, I'm not sure about these. Are these? Okay, yeah, this looks like perhaps the Sparrow Force. Yeah, these are the Sparrow Force scenarios. So that's a Sparrow Force. This one looks good. Tasmanian Devils. Flying Samurai, similar 8-turn scenarios. Really nice consistency in their thinking here. 8 turns for each of the campaign scenarios. Here's another one. This is Heraklion, so this is going to be a Crete scenario. Enough squads on each side. Very nice here. A few more SSRs, but it's using some desert boards. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, this one's another Sparrow Force, it looks like. 7 turns. Just all of these are in the sweet spot so far. Really amazing. Uh, Cooking up a storm. This is more of the Timor Sparrow Force scenarios. All of these seem to fit right in the sweet spot. This one's good, J234, very nice. Okay, now we get to J235. This is something in Eora Creek in Papua. Papua campaign. Now, this is a 10-turn scenario. That's a little bit longer than the usual one. This isn't the usual designer. Most of these other ones have been designed by Andy Rogers. This is designed by Murray McCloskey. Looks like he prefers longer scenarios, but at least he's got not too many SSRs and 10-turn scenario. Okay, different low visibility conditions. Yeah, it's looking good. Um, a lot of times I'll pull out a scenario pack, and if it's from Lone Canuck or if it's from uh, one of the other providers, and you see these scenarios with 4 squads, and you see the scenario is very lame looking. I'm sorry, I don't think there's been a lot of thought put into a scenario with only 4 squads on a side and 7 attacking squads. I don't want to play a scenario like that. All right, maybe there's people who like those kinds of things. Maybe they like the chess version of ASL where you play that scenario 3 times or something in a night. Not my cup of tea. So I'm all the way up to J30. That's yeah, that's the one I was looking at. J235, Irksome Rear Guard. Deadly Dexter. This is back to Andy Rogers' design. Same criteria, 5.5 turns, 10 to 12 squads on the side, something like that. Low, low SSRs. I love these. These are amazing. All right. J237, another 6-turn scenario. Similar. Simon Spinetti and Andy Rogers. Uh, now I'm on J238. 6.5 turn scenario, at least 10 squads on the side. Not too many SSRs. I'm going to want to play all of these. In fact, I am playing this next one as part of my Vassal tournament. This is a decent sized scenario, 5.5 turns, 3 short SSRs, three, count them three. Gotta get my hand in front of the camera, three, okay. And 15 squads. The Japanese are attacking, 11 American squads in the jungle. New Britain, Cape Iboshi, New Britain. Yep, looks like a nice fight that we're gonna have together for that tournament. Um, J40, Hurricane Biak. Again, Andy Rogers, similar size scenario, similar turns, similar SSRs. Yeah, okay. I'm not finding anything that doesn't fit my criteria for good scenarios in here. So here's one with a lot more vehicles here. So, if you like vehicles, he's got some in here. Most of these are not vehicle oriented, but that's okay. Here we've got 6 tanks on the German side coming in, fighting some Canadians. It looks like here, 11th of June. So this is going to be near somewhere near Normandy, of course, the beaches. Uh, yep, looks like a serious fight. 2 very short SSRs. Can't find anything wrong with these. Okay, J242. Same criteria are all met. Here's one with, oh gosh, more SSRs than usual. 6 turns, plenty of squads. Why are there so many SSRs? I see we have overlays, special setup criteria, and not using the black SS counters, which means they have to specifically designate that some of these German markers, counters, the 548s, are in fact meant to be SS. All right. That's probably why they just needed to put those SSRs in. And then the last one, J246, loser takes all. This is a big scenario. Well, big for the scenario pack, I would say. Anyway, again, 6 turns, 10 squads on the side. This one has about 8 vehicles on one side, 3 or 4 vehicles, and any tank gun on the other side. So this one's more combined arms, um, low SSRs. Doesn't look like I saw a lot of OBA, only a couple of night scenarios, maybe just one. So look, great value here. Um, I'll have to append, uh, well, you can find a look of the map out there, right? I mean, you can find the map, the Sparrow Force map, if you go to probably Board Game Geek or something. They'll have a picture of it. So I won't bother to do that here. Um, Really, when I take it's a long map. It's sort of like a section, like I would say 2 or 3, maybe 2.5 ASL boards wide and 2.5 tall, something like that. I haven't really pulled it out fully. So um, anyway, just so you all know, and I'll put a link in the description to this video, I'm taking a bit of a break from pure ASL. I don't just play ASL. There's a lot of other games I like to play. Uh, so that does limit my skill at ASL because I have to tell you, if you run into somebody who plays this every weekend, like the gang up there in Scotland, they get together every Friday and jabber and play and jabber. Who knows what they do? Whatever they do, they practice the heck out of ASL. And they do things that come naturally to them that I would have to think about. So if you really, really, really want to be good at ASL, you really have to immerse yourself in it. Play face to face, play on Vassal. You're not going to do it by playing by mail. It's not going to be the same effect. Uh, it's not going to be the same effect if you play starter kit. With all due respect to you starter kit guys, you should be playing real ASL as soon as possible. And no, starter kit is not real ASL. It doesn't have the same kind of feel to it. I've played some scenarios in it. So yes, I know that might get me a ding or two. I don't care. Okay, I'm not a big starter kit fan, and that's because I learned ASL without starter kits. So that means you can too. All right, that's the end of my video here. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe if you like and subscribe, and if you don't, thanks for coming by and listening all the way to this point. And take care. See you soon.